Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Empower Your Soul. I am here with my fourth weekend down of my shamanism training, and let's get into it because it was a very interesting and eye-opening weekend, which was very funny because there wasn't a lot that we actually covered this weekend in shamanism training. So I'll at least cover what happened, what my experiences were, and then as I was actually jotting down notes for this, Spirit gave me a giant, huge aha moment. So I'm so excited to share that with all of you today. So in this fourth weekend of shamanism training, we are entering essentially what they call the second trimester. So we are shifting away from serpent energy and into jaguar energy with this trimester. So each of the trimesters has an animal, a power animal associated with it. So serpent, the first 3 months, we're talking about letting go of the past. And as we move into Jaguar, this is about finding your voice and your power. So they will be implementing and showing us how to use tools associated with using your voice and using your power. And the Jaguar is the animal that they use for this trimester and for the power, because the Jaguar is essentially the spirit animal that is the bridge between the upper worlds and the shamanism world and the lower worlds. So essentially it's the bridge between the physical and the spirit world. And that's why they use the Jaguar for this trimester to talk about your own spiritual journey and empowerment. In terms of topics that we covered, I have to say the best part of the whole weekend was the quote unquote attunement. And I don't even know if it was an official attunement, but they invited the Peruvian shaman back that my teacher works with. So, he's this cute. Oh my God, he's so cute. This old man, he's so cute. He comes online. So first of all, it's adorable because I see him in his button down, plaid shirt. And then he throws on his, I don't know what you call it. It's like a poncho, but it's not really. But he throws on this very Peruvian looking woven garb that's red and all these different amazing colors. So he looks very traditional. He's got a hat on him. And his energy is the cutest energy in the world. He's obviously a very happy, very loving, very authentic man. And I love that he is invited to our classes once in a while. So far the first class and now the fourth class. And he talks about, he spent an hour and a half talking with us and answering our questions about, the importance of the Jaguar. And he started talking about Mother Earth and the laws of Mama Earth. Of course, he calls it Pachamama and Pachacuti. And what was really unique and caught my ears and kind of made my hair stand up on edge a little bit was when he was talking about Pachamama, Mother Earth, and Pachacuti. Don't quote me on this because I'm still learning it, obviously. But Pachacuti is this idea of going back in time and determining what the root cause of maybe your path that has led astray. And it's this opportunity for rebirth essentially and rewriting your path and going back to the beginning and choosing and healing and choosing a new path. And I just loved that this Peruvian shaman brought this up because I do this in the Akashic Records at the same time. I go back into the root cause of certain issues or what's the word? Or your family lineage, your ancestors. I might go back to past life lineage. And either way, we're kind of going back in time to uncover what's the root cause of some of the issues that you have today and rewriting that path for you so that you can be healed past, present, and future. So essentially, he was kind of talking about the same thing from a whole other modality. And there were going to be some parallels in this, but keep that one in mind. But I loved sitting in his energy, being able to ask questions with him, hearing everybody else ask questions, and in his sometimes tough to understand English and his phonetic words that I would have to write down in my notes. It was just a lovely way to kick off the energy of it. And as he's talking, I have to tell you, my heart center just opened up. And I just felt so much love and so much power. And it truly, to me, even though I don't think that was the intention, felt like this attunement for me entering into this Jaguar energy. So that was really cool. I loved it. We then proceeded to throughout the course of the weekend, I would say it was more of an integration weekend. We did talk about one more topic that I'll get to in a moment, but it was more of an integration weekend to kind of round out our existing practices, our existing tools that we've learned, and just practice them on another person. So it was really cool because I got partnered up with this wicked cool woman from the UK. And she is actually supports the class. So it was really cool. I ended up with her. And, you know, she's like, oh, I know you're so into Nicole, because now apparently I have a reputation in the class. Go figure. It's wherever I go. She's like, oh, I know you're going to be able to help me with this. And she's like, I would love to know what my path ahead looks like. And I said, okay, but here's the thing. I could tell that to you, or we could use the tools for you to go in and find it out yourself. So we ended up doing this very, very quick guided meditation or guided shamanic journey that I gave her, you know, right on the spot there. And I was like, please let me wing it. You don't mind, right? And she didn't mind at all. So I kind of combined the several of the tools that we did in the class so far. So I did this guided journey to uncover her power animal. And then I felt guided to have that power animal lead her into this soul, kind of like soul retrieval, but it wasn't really a soul retrieval. It was more like, we're going to go into this cave, but I want to know what your limitation is and why it's not true. And then having the higher self releasing the cords to this limitation so that she could go on her very merry way. And it was just really cool. And I hope as the pause was me in my head saying, is it okay to talk about this? And my team's saying, yeah, you don't name her. It's totally fine. It's anonymous. And it's more for educational purposes. But it was just really interesting because it was this really cool partnership between me and her, of her doing this journey, seeing what her power animal was, seeing what her limitation was. And she didn't really understand it because she went back to a time when she was standing on stage at a school concert. And she's like, well, I think Spirit's telling me that I need to, you know, singing's not just for fun. I think that's what she said. Singing's not just for fun. We can use it as a tool to help heal people. And she kind of went into her thing. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Hey, here's the other message I was getting. So I was able to kind of supplement her message a little bit too, which was really rad, which is like, hey, you know, when you were little, you didn't mind being big and vulnerable and on stage and center of attention, and Spirit saying like, that can be you again. There's nothing to be afraid of there. So there was, I think I was able to kind of give her validation for her first observation, but it was obviously a very loaded experience for her, a loaded visual for her. And I was able to kind of give her clarity there too. So that was really cool, being able to like combine a little bit of everything into one in like literally 10 minutes, the poor thing. This is how fast my mind works. Does anyone listen to me at 2 times speed? I would be very surprised. They're in podcast land. So that was the first one. She did a rainbow body healing for me. And that was actually the session that I missed when I couldn't attend one of the weekends. And that was really cool because it was essentially like clearing out my aura, the energy within my aura, and kind of resetting all of my energy inside and in my aura. So honest to God, she's just like, what would you like to do? I was like, could you do the rainbow body? Because my energy from Teresa Caputo's show was still so off. And I was so frazzled still. So that really grounded me and removed a lot of that excess energy and kind of put everything back into place. And it's really interesting because she walked out of it saying, I could feel the energy in your heart and your throat that needed a ton of healing. And I'm like, that totally checks out for me, because I felt so sad in my heart for the people who couldn't get their reading at Teresa Caputo. Like, I'm pretty sure I could feel the energy of those souls and then the spirits that wanted to deliver their messages as well. So my heart felt so heavy, and then my throat felt so blocked as well because their messages weren't able to be delivered. So totally checked out. I thought she did such a fantastic job. I really like that tool. So I'm going to go back and learn that one a little bit more. I just kind of read over it and skipped over it in the video. So I'm going to go back because it was so cool. I felt so centered. I don't know. I felt like my energy was nice and tight and zipped up, nice and neat. It felt like everything was in place again. So that was a really cool tool. I'm going to have to do that. And then the last partner activity of the weekend was just a discussion with somebody for about 10 minutes or so about why we feel like we were held back from the shamanism work. And the universe always gives us exactly what we need. And I was paired up with somebody that was very similar to me. So this woman is actually mentoring one-on-one with the teacher. She's an experienced practitioner. She had gone through this class another time. And so we both kind of just went back and forth about how we both want to incorporate the shamanism modality or tools into the day-to-day practices that we do. But we both just weren't sure how to make it ours, because neither of us wanted to just do 100% shamanism. We wanted to kind of take the shamanism principles and maybe the tools that resonated most with us and layer it on top of what we already do. Her modality is very different than my modality, but we both kind of talked it through. We both kind of gave each other ideas and pointers on how we could do it. And then we were both like, okay, this time by next class, we want to roll this out. So hopefully, maybe stay tuned on some new reading opportunities with me with shamanism. I'm not afraid of the work, but it's new to me. So I might do some test subjects first. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it was just really cool being partnered with somebody who felt the exact same way about the tools. And also somebody that was partnering with the instructor and felt that way about the tools, that it wasn't 100% for them, that they wanted to make it theirs. I loved that. Like, it was so great, because everyone I've talked to in the class so far has I think, honest to God, felt similar to me, but they felt guilty about it. And they felt like, why am I here? How can I stay true to this practice? And this woman was just like me. She's like, yeah, no, it's great. I'm probably not going to use this. I'm going to use this, but I'm going to change it this way. And it was just nice to, I don't know, be face to face with somebody who felt and came at the material the same way as I do. It was very much appreciated and very validating for me as well. Not that I needed to be validated, but it felt good to be in like company. You all know, what I'm saying. Okay. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the end of the first class of the weekend. And forgive my mispronunciation of this. I will definitely screw it up at least once, but it was the Ayurvedic principles in doshas. And I'm laughing because I have to be totally honest with you, did not resonate with me at all. And I know there's a lot of people that do this, right? Like, it's an ancient, for those of you that don't know, because I very quickly rushed this and wrote these quick notes, but like Ayurveda, see, I can't even pronounce it, God help me, is an ancient Indian system of medicine and holistic healing that's like really old. It's over 5,000 years old. So at its core, it's kind of used to balance your health between your body, mind, and spirit. So it uses this theory of doshas, or 3 biological energies or life forces that govern your physical and mental processes in the body. So the 3 major doshas that we talked about were the vata, which is made up of air and space. I know, I got to go back and like rewatch this recording because it went way over my head. And that is essentially, the vata controls the movement, the breathing, the blood flow, the nerve impulses. People with vata are usually creative, quick thinking. If they're imbalanced, they might get anxiety, have dry skin, have irregular digestion. So those are some examples of the vata. The second dosha is pitta, which is made up of fire and water, and this is all elemental work here. So that governs the metabolism, the digestion, and the transformation. So these individuals tend to be intelligent, focused. They are, and imbalances can manifest as inflammation, acid reflux, and irritability. I think I'm all of these things, everybody. And then the last one is the kapha. Kapha. I don't know how I say that one. Earth and water are the elements that make up this one. And this is all about structure and stability. And these individuals are typically calm, strong-built, methodical. And then when they're out of balance, they might experience waking, congestion, lethargy. They might be lethargic. So according to the philosophy of this work, everyone has a little bit of all of it, right? You have a combination of those 3 doshas, but you will usually have 1 or 2 more prominent doshas within that you would relate to most of the time. And they identify whatever your primary dosha is, you have to like balance that through your diet and lifestyle. So I can't remember some of but they were like down to like, if you're one of these and you really like spicy foods, you need to eat this instead, right? Like, so it's all about this balance, which is very interesting. I'm hesitating because I know people in my real life that do this work, that study this, that have practices with Ayurvedic. And I love that. And I think it's so cool, but I need to be totally honest with you that I literally fell asleep during this discussion. I'm not even freaking joking. I felt my eyes getting droopy. I shut off my camera and I literally took a nap sitting up in my chair. So when I woke up, probably about 40 minutes later, I was like, well, this probably isn't for me. So I just logged off and I said, I'll just catch up and watch the video at 2 times speed after. I know well enough when it's time for me to cut loose. So I did not want to change the energy or the dynamic of the class any more than I already was. So I logged off. But I know that this topic resonates a lot with people, but it just doesn't with me. And here's why I immediately, you're going to hear this over and over again, but I'm going to say it explicitly right now, and then you're going to realize it. I immediately shut down anything that tries to categorize things. Anything that tries to have, like, structures are really cool, but when you say everybody's this, and if you're this, if you're this type, if you're this dosha, then you need to eat this, and that's going to maintain it balanced. Like, I like to lean much more into myself intuitively. I guess I'm a bit like a leopard, since we're talking about the jaguar path here. I feel like I'm a leopard. I feel like I lean into each dosha when I need to. And structures always make me want to break them every single time. And I think that's the beauty about me, is that I know that there are no rules. There's only exceptions. So as soon as you tell me that this is a system, I'm like, I'm going to break it. That's my job. I break systems. It's probably something in my human design, if my human design friends are listening. And that's kind of how my brain works. So as soon as he tells me this system, I'm like, I'm out. It's probably good to learn, but I'm out. But here's what I freaking love. And here's where the big aha moment comes in about when we paired up with people. So the next day we paired up with people because they must have run out of time. And we were partnered with 2 other people to talk about what our doshas are. And we were supposed to see if we could figure out what dosha our partners were. So mind you, it was me and 2 other women in this group. And I walked in, and the kind women in my group put up with me. I did not tell them explicitly I had fallen asleep during the class, but they were kind enough to just kind of give me the rundown in about a minute or 2 on what the doshas were, which I was very appreciative of. I had the printout, so I kind of get it. And then it was really hilarious because they both looked at me then and said, "Hey, Nicole, why don't you guess what we are?" And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So, I mean, I had this 10-second introduction to these doshas at this point, and I literally looked at the first one and I'm like, well, you're a mix of vata and pitta. And I said, and here's why, because you are vata until you gather. So vata is the one that doesn't make decisions. And I said, you're vata until you gather enough information to make a decision. And then you shift into the pitta energy, because now you know what your decision is and you're going to move full speed ahead. And she's like, how the frick did you know that? I'm like, all comes from spirit. And then with the other partner, I could see and feel that she was the last one. She was a kapha, but I couldn't figure out why. Spirit did not give me information to why. They just said, she's that one, period. No other information. So that's what I said. I said, you're a kapha. I don't know why. And then she went on to explain it, and she was, right? I got both of these right. But here is like my mind-blowing moment with this, because I walked in knowing essentially nothing about these doshas, and I still got both of them right. Not because I'm super intuitive, like I am super intuitive, but not because I did the research and I analyzed and I And I studied them, and I studied these doshas, and I figured out which ones they were, which was old me, mind you. That is old me. Old me will go out, and I'm just like that lady, the first lady. I will go out and gather all of the information. I will not make a decision until I have all of the information. And then once I have the information, I will make the decision, and my decision will never change. That is me. That is who I am. That is definitely me in my job, because I used to do the same thing in my corporate job. I used to gather a ton of data. I would gather the current state baseline of processes, very large transformational, customer facing processes. I would gather literally what the entire process is, what the data points were. I would put all that together, and I'd look at the data, and I'd make a decision. And what happened in this session is that Spirit just gave me the information without any reason or logic for me to know that. Isn't that interesting, right? They were literally proving to me, and I promise there's a message for all of us in here, but they were literally proving to me that it does not matter what the system is. I will always get the information I need so that I can deliver the messages that need to be heard for my clients, students, classmates. It doesn't matter. So they really, honestly, Spirit does not care what the modality is. They will still work within me and through me and my stupid human brain and these stupid systems and constructs and tools, and they will play along because it doesn't matter to them. They are, as long as they get the information they need to across. And the way they show it to me is, it's like this maze. It's like this, we're like little mice in this little maze, okay? They show it to me as, it doesn't matter what path we take, as long as we end up at the same destination of giving the information that needs to be heard. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that they can literally throw me into the pit of fire and put me on the spot to say, what are these doshas? And I can tell you it's these doshas, and I know nothing about these doshas, right? So can you even imagine how much my brain broke when I was writing notes for this episode? About how, like, me as somebody who needs to learn anything and everything before I make decisions, me who's this endless student that wants to learn every single modality and has this new secret door of information or approaches to Spirit that I haven't uncovered or haven't learned before, right? It doesn't matter. Because even though I walk into the shamanism training to hopefully gain new perspective, new knowledge, new understanding, new ways of connecting with Spirit, it's not the modality that does that. It's my brain realizing that there is a new way to gather information, a new perspective that's possible. And my brain opens up to the potential of this information. And it's not necessarily the modality that allowed me to achieve it. It's my brain realizing that it was possible and just opened up to this whole new chapter that I didn't know I had access to. Does that make sense? So for me and for all of you, I think this is hopefully a wonderful way to say that you should be going after whatever metaphysical modality resonates most with you, because it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. You need to go after your passion, because that is going to be the tool that just naturally lights you up and makes you more open to receiving information from Spirit. And like, you're going to want to go to the classes more. You're going to want to learn more. So it's just going to open up more and more of those doors, more and more of those chapters for you. But it doesn't mean that you're going to learn, I don't know, ABC over here in astrology and DEF over here in human design and GH and I over here in mediumship. It doesn't work that way. It's just however you can kind of be open to receiving it, whatever modality resonates the most with you, you're going to get the most guidance and perspective and support from Spirit, no matter what modality you pick. And I know there's probably more to this, and I'm probably oversimplifying, but like, what a freaking brain opener for me. What a brain. It's like, again, this was the integration class. This is where it all made sense to me. And I'm like, okay, This is why I heard over and over again before I took this class that I didn't need to take this class. I didn't need to. I already had access to everything I know. And I was like, yeah. That's great. But I know there's tools I need to learn and tools I need to do. And I have learned that. But then I go back to, but they were right. They were right. I didn't need to go to this class. But what this class allowed me to do is open up my brain to the potential of more, and just being open to the potential of more lets more in. So again, all of this work is all about intention. So that's what I walked away with in my shamanism class this weekend. So didn't learn, again, a lot of the tools. Probably will never use Ayurvedic. I don't even know how to say it. System of medicine. I'm sure it's very lovely. I'm sure for people that use it, it's fantastic. Does not fit well, again, within my body, mind, soul. So I'm going to probably just put that one on the back burner until maybe in a future date, maybe it will resonate with me and it will make sense and I'll want to study it. But for now, I'm going to step away. But I think the gift of spirit giving me the breakdown of structures and why it doesn't matter. And it's just so funny because that's like I started with, I like to break down structures. And then spirit was like, this is why you like to break down structures, because it doesn't matter what the structure is as long as you're getting what you need out of it. And I just love that they gave me not only they help me understand the why. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I just mumble on and on about these things, but I hope you walk away thinking about it too. And I hope you walk away feeling empowered that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're learning exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You're in the right place. And if you want more doors open from spirit, ask them for more doors that are open from spirit, and be open to whatever doors they try to open for you and see where they go, even if there is not a playbook, even if there is not an official plan, modality, procedure, but like, it doesn't matter as long as you're receiving the information with spirit and going with it and seeing where it takes you, because then you never know where that's going to lead you. All right. There's the shamanism week 4 for me. I will be back hopefully in another 4 weeks or so to talk about my next weekend. I'm so excited for it as I continue on my jaguar path. All right. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care.